Hello, hello, and welcome. My friend, I'm so excited to be here with you today. And I'm really grateful for this day, this morning. It's morning for you. It may be morning, it may be evening for you, it may be daytime, but it is a new day. It is Monday. And I'm grateful that we can have conversation today. My name is Jana Masik. I'm the host of this LinkedIn Live broadcast, Powering Unique You. And I'm so thrilled to just spend the next 30 to 40 minutes with you here having a conversation and, in fact, sharing some of the things that have changed my trajectory of my career, my professional development, and my life. And it's such a blessing that we have a platform and we can actually have a way to exchange ideas, exchange our experiences, exchange our knowledge, so we can hopefully enrich each other and encourage each other toward progress, toward the success, and toward the achievements that we want to gain. So today, in fact, the guest that's supposed to come in onto this show was not able to join me. So I was thinking, what can I do? How can I add value to you? How can I give value to you as a viewer, as a listener, as a part of member of my community here on LinkedIn? And what I thought is going to be good and valuable, and I hope you will find it valuable, is to share a part of my training that I've given on leadership development and personal awareness that is paving path toward personal empowerment and winning in life and in your professional endeavors. And this training is all about changing perspective and changing your views on how you see yourself, how you see your capacity, how you see your potential, and where you're going, growing, and developing. And I'm so thrilled to say hi to you. Please let me know if you're watching it live or if you're joining on the replay. Say hello anyway. I'm so excited that you're joining and spending your time with me. Hello, my friend Keith. I'm so happy to see you here. I hope you and your family are doing well today. I'm so glad you're joining in. So let's dive right in. How to win with global skills. So before we tackle the subject and tackle the topic, how I outlined it, I want to talk a little bit about why is it important, why your skill sets are important. Because I feel many professionals and many people who are in the workforce, we develop our practical, we develop our professional, technical skills. And then, you may have got a degree, or maybe you've got an experience, and then we go into workforce and we start most of the time, for many people, at the entry level. And what happens is that a lot of people, they get stuck in that entry level, or maybe they progress a little bit, but it takes a lot of time for them. And then they find themselves questioning, why am I at this entry level? Why am I feel stuck? Why am I not growing? And I'm seeing others developing and getting better pay, getting better promotion. So that might be a question for you. And hopefully today's discussion can help you answer that. And then the second question is for those people that go into managerial position, but they're not really trained and know how to get to the next level sometimes. And some of the interesting statistics I found online, 83% of businesses say it's important to develop leaders and develop leadership skills on all levels. Yet only 5% of businesses actually have implemented leadership development programs within. So what it shows you that majority of the companies, they realize the need, but very few companies, they actually have the implemented tools within the organization to help people succeed on all levels. And what it shows you, my friend, and what I see from that is their opportunity. There are opportunity for you to take that power back and to say, how can I find ways, means, tools to continue growing, to continue developing my skill set. Then the other statistic is that 77% of companies admitting that they have gaps in leadership, that they have gaps that they're seeing within their workforce. And I think right now it's more intensified because none of us, or most of us, professionals and companies, were not prepared to go completely remote and do the remote workforce. So there are a lot of challenges, and if you can relate to that, I would love to hear that from you as well. An interesting thing is that 67% of millennials now looking for new jobs, yet 63 of them, the majority of millennials, new generation, so to speak, that are in the workforce and becoming more and more prevalent in the workforce, they're saying that they feel they lack personal development. So leadership development. So today's conversation is really about how to help you bridge that gap and how to help you identify the skills that's going to take you to the next level, that's going to help you to win. And it's good that you identify those things as well. So what we're going to cover today, and it's a little bit of a different type of conversation because I'm going to do a little presentation. Let's see how it goes. Please let me know if you can actually see my screen. And I'm going to share it today. We start with Maslow's. And in most of you, I believe many people that are in a professional arena, they're working, are aware of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I want to start with Maslow's hierarchy of needs because it does affect then how we look at the skills. And we touch about what skills that you really need to focus on and you need to grow and develop. So we start at the very level, at the low level. It's a physiological needs, right? It's a need for safety, for air, food, and shelter. And the second level is safety, security, employment, and health. So if you look at these levels, it is interestingly enough, and I would love to hear your thoughts on that in a way, those basic needs, the basic structures, the foundations for our success, for our self-actualization, as Maslow puts it together, have been, in a way, disrupted, have been shaken, right? So many people lost jobs. Many people are in jobs, yet they're overwhelmed. They do not know if their jobs will continue. So there's a challenge there. You may feel that there is a threat to your safety, to your security, to your employment, to your health. And when you're in that state of mind, in that kind of position, what happens is that we tend not to think about bigger problems, about how to solve the bigger problems and how to find resolutions for our own needs and for other people's needs. So the other thing that is important as you progress on that hierarchy is the level of love and belonging. That's where you create community, intimacy, connection, and family. Interestingly and strangely enough, the distancing that we are asked to keep is social, and in actuality, it needs to be physical distancing, right, to prevent the spread of a bacteria, virus. But it's called social, and it's a little bit strange to me personally because I believe that we still can and should socialize and create that sense of community belonging, the sense of that we have connections with each other, because it is so important. On this, I say, picture, how important it is for us to be well-grounded in these basic needs. And then the next level that Maslow is showing is respect, esteem, self-esteem, status, accomplishment, freedom, your choices, the choices that you can make about who you work with or what kind of occupation you may have. Financial freedom plays a big role in that, I believe, because if you are deep in that and you're tying and you're surviving from paycheck to paycheck, it may not be easy for you to actually pursue something bigger, something, push yourself out of your comfort zone, so to speak. And the last level that Maslow is showing is really self-actualization, where you feel grounded in all of these levels. Then you come to a point where you have creativity, when you discover and seek for purpose. What is the purpose of your life? What is the purpose of your professional journey? What kind of impact you want to make? Personal growth, focusing on how to grow yourself, not just with the practical or tactical or hard skills that are required for certain positions, but you're looking at the softer skills and how to develop your emotional intelligence, how to develop yourself, I would say, holistically from many views. As humans, we're very complicated. We have emotional needs, we have mental capacities, we have, capacities to connect with others, and the spiritual growth. There are many levels on which you can look at developing yourself. So I feel that this is very interesting example, very interesting visual example that can help us really just get a little bit of perspective. And I would love for you to give yourself some type of a measurement and maybe take a piece of paper and just consider, how safe do you feel in these areas, and where are the areas that you can outline, that you can progress, that you can maybe establish some foundations for yourself to help yourself move from that, just those physiological, just from that safety level toward the self-actualization, toward the growth that you can achieve. So I think that is really, really helpful. And I'm so happy to see my friends joining in. Hello, Victoria. I'm so happy to have you here, my friend. Thank you for joining in. So the next thing that I would like to talk about is Jim Collins. Jim Collins is very well-known psychologist, and you may also come across his work. And he's created 5 levels of leaders who combine personal humility and professional will. So it's similar to Maslow's, but it's a little bit of a different application, where in Maslow's, I think you can look at it broader perspective from your life level, from what you're actually achieving and what you try to achieve in your overall life. And Collins' work is really portraying your growth opportunities in your professional realm, in your professional journey. So, and it's interestingly enough that most of us started level 1, highly capable individuals. So many people, they contribute, they do work, some with their hands, some with their minds, but they contribute directly, and they called contributors, and they contribute their talent, capacities, knowledge, skills, and good work habits. And as you excel and as you grow toward that, you will go to the next level, which you really, I'd say, advance. You really show to your managers, to your leaders, that you're capable of more than just being at that entry level. So then you will inevitably probably get a promotion, and you will be really driving your work toward the success, and you will be more focused on how can you achieve that success in a group setting. So you will also be looking at how to collaborate and work effectively with others around you, and that is very noble. And if you're growing and really accelerating your progress and accelerating the tasks that need to be performed in that group setting, you will most likely be promoted to a manager level. So the managerial level, according to Collins, organize and manage the performance of effective and efficient teams. So let's say the leadership, the executive level within companies, they have vision for what they want to accomplish with their company. And then they need to have managers that can effectively and efficiently help people to really achieve those individual contributors and teams to really achieve those objectives on a granular level. So the next level that Collins portrays is effective leader. He's calling it number 4, effective leader. They catalyze commitment to pursuing compelling vision and stimulate people to achieve high performance. And I believe that leaders are, interestingly enough, that the companies that we talked in the beginning, the statistics, admit that they want to develop these leadership skills on all levels of organization. But sometimes what happens in practicality, because we also see that only 5% of companies do that and have established programs within the companies, what happens is you as a contributor, as a highly capable individual, then grow toward that level, and you feel, and we've seen 67% or 63% of millennials feel they have gap in that leadership skill. So what I'm passionate about to really say, you don't have to wait until you get promoted officially to that level. You can be at level 1 and start thinking and start looking, start asking questions, start connecting with people at the higher level, so you can take that development of your leadership and of your skills that are necessary at that level, level 4. So it's 1, 2, 3 levels above you if you're in the level 1, to move yourself toward that progress effectively. And I say fast track that progress, because the interesting part, if you start thinking, asking questions, and acting on your level 1 and having a perspective as if you're on level 4, that really gives you a powerful positioning that can help you accelerate that growth. And most importantly, it can help you realize that you are capable of doing so much more than just executing specific tasks that were given to you by somebody else. So that is an interesting observation. And I feel Collins really outlined this beautifully, these levels. And number 5, it says executive level. Those are most of the people that are leading their companies on a high level, making strategic decisions that affect the organizations. And depending on the size of the company, there may be more layers in between, but those are, say, that the most stand out layers. And on the executive level, the leaders, hopefully executive, will build greatness through the combination of personal humility and professional will. So it is not just making decisions, but it's really being an example to all of those levels below, and being an influence on how to drive themselves and how to drive your teams and how to drive your companies to success. So I found this really, really interesting lens and perspective to look at. And I would love to encourage you to look at your growth. If you look at this type of a pyramid or a ladder, so to speak, your growth in these levels, and perhaps identify what may be missing that you believe that holds you or prevents you from, going up the level, or maybe perhaps to just take the power back to yourself and to say, what do I need to do to equip, to grow and develop? So this is really, really interesting, and how we tie this together. Now we come to Robert Hartman, and this is a very interesting gentleman. He lived in last century, and he was nominated to Nobel Prize. Dr. Robert Hartman. He studied axiology. A very interesting work. I was able to, and on order to study some of his work, and really was intrigued on how he viewed the world and development, and put it together to be able to measure specific skills. And in this case, we're going to talk about, he outlined them, global skills, and what those global skills are. Interestingly enough, that those skills really go for all of us. Doesn't matter what country we come from, our background, our ethnicity, our language, whatnot. They are applicable for anyone, and they're applicable for you. So I would say, let's focus on his view of his picture, and see how you can maybe do a parallel or tie-in to what we just covered with Maslow's and Collins' work as well. So extrinsic, he said there's 3 global skills: extrinsic, intrinsic, and strategic. So there's a little bit fancier word, and how do you explain them in a simple language? Is extrinsic, it's really your tactical, they say task organization, your work organization. And that's your ability to understand and carry the task. So if you look at Colin's work, it's really first two levels. So you are able to follow through, you're able to perform the tasks, and you hopefully do them great and efficient and find ways to save money and to really drive your company and your team and yourself toward the success. So that is an important skill. And the next skill that is important as well, and Collins identified higher, a little bit higher than the tactical skill, is intrinsic. And that's how you relate to people and relationship. And this is really measuring your value of importance that you play on people and relationships. And interestingly enough, that it is easy sometimes to be effective and efficient and successful contributor on the first level, but not be engaged in people. And when you get people engaged, and let me know if you can relate to that, but when you get people engaged, there's things happening that people are not that easy. There's so many complications happen. So your way of valuing people, valuing your relationships, valuing the teams you're working with, and as well valuing the customers you're serving, is all tied into that intrinsic skill, intrinsic value, evaluation. So those skills are going to dictate, or proficiency of those skills for you are going to dictate how you're going to make decisions on everyday, day-to-day basis, right? And the people skill, I believe, is really, really important, because I've seen some great technical, in my experience, great technical experts that know very technical engineering knowledge. They have a very great in-depth technical understanding, yet they lack the people skill, the approach to be able to convey, to work effectively with teams. And let's admit, those people are probably not going to grow that far in their career. So that's a focus. That's a perspective I want to give you and ask you to consider. What are you driven by? What is the most prevalent ability or skill that you show, that kind of show up in a way in your profession when you work, and it shows up in our daily life as well. What are we focusing on? Where do we send our energy to? And then the interesting part of it is that he's saying strategic is at the top. And of course, many people say that leadership and strategy is very tied together. So there's courses, there's universities, there is degrees that you can get in leadership, trying to grow and develop strategic skill. But again, going back to that statistic that we covered in the beginning, majority of companies, in the 80%, they say, yes, we need to develop this leadership strategic view and ability and skill on all levels of organization, but only 5% are doing that. So, and what I also found, and it was interesting through the work of Dr. Hartman, that he can measure those skills, and that many people think that they are very well grounded and very well developed in strategy, which is seeing a big picture and your ability to understand and incorporate big picture implications, your decision-making process. How do you make decisions in your life? How do you make decisions for your work? How do you make decisions for your finances? How do you make decisions for your career? How do you make decisions for your health? Are you looking at the bigger picture implication? What is going to happen? Your decisions today, how are they going to affect you next month, in 3 months from now, 5 years, a year from now, 5 years from now? Or are you just in the day-to-day activities with your decisions? And that strategy is so important, and not yet. I think it's started, people start talking about it, people start looking at it when they are brought into that levels. But I believe it is so valuable and important to develop this perspective and develop that vision and find ways in how you can develop strategically, be more strategic thinker in your overall life and your overall career progression as well. So that is so valuable. And I'm navigating here. I have Sandra saying, in today's role, is a de facto job interview for the next role, and sometimes the roles that don't even exist. The key is to demonstrate today what you bring to next opportunity to influence. Sandra, this is so important. I believe that it's important to have the view of where you are and have a solid assessment. Self-assessment, there are different ways to do input from others. There are ways of doing different types of, evaluations that you could do. And then it is so important to start thinking, where are you going? Where do you want to go? Going back to that Maslow's, being on that top level, knowing that you can tackle and take care of all those necessities, all those levels, being connected, feeling safe, being on that level of self-actualization and seeing bigger potential, bigger opportunities for yourself. And like Sandra said, you may have an interview for the role that doesn't even exist, but because of what you bring to the table, because of your abilities of thinking strategically, being a connector, being able to connect with people and make things happen on solve more challenging problems on their higher level, some companies will create a role for you as well. So I agree, Sandra, this is really, really valuable. So coming to that, how can we wrap it all together? So we looked at Maslow's, we look at Collins, and we look at global skills that were portrayed by Robert Hartman. So if you look at the Collins ideal organization, he says it's workers, teams, managers, leaders, executives, right? So this is kind of a ladder for you to see if you want to grow in it. And some people, let's admit, for some people out there, they're okay with staying at specific level. And they say, well, moving up the ladder is not for me. I'm just okay of staying at specific level. And there's nothing wrong with that. I respect that. And I want to challenge if you have such a mindset and say, I'm okay, let's just stay where I am. At some point, you will feel stagnant. At some point, you will feel stuck unless you have another outlets for growth. And let's say maybe in your professional role of what you do right now, you're okay to stay and do exactly what you're doing for the next several years or maybe for more. Create another outlets for yourself, some hobbies, some interests, some things that are you can maybe volunteer. So create another outlets that you can pour your energy in growing yourself and developing yourself. Because if you're going to get stuck in one position and not develop and not grow, you're going to get stagnant. And if you're not progressing, you're going to regress. So I feel it's really important to have this mindset of realizing that we all have opportunities and capacities to continuously grow, continuously improve in whatever areas we choose. Some choose to put a little bit more focus on the professional, and some choose to put focus on the different areas of your life. And that is all right. That is absolutely fine as long as you're growing. And if you look at the parallel of Collins' ideal organization to what Dr. Hartman described, the global skills, you'll find it very interesting. And for me, this was somewhat of a boom discovery, and I hope it creates for you as well. So your workers contribute to extrinsic, which is tactical. You want to expect your workers, your contributors that are individual contributors, to really be good at executing things that they're most of the time outlined. And most of the times they have expectations and specific tasks at hand, maybe a task lead or a calendar or a specific phone calls list that they need to make. So whatever it may be, they have very specific outlined tasks that they need to perform and follow through. And they need to be good at performing those tasks. They need to be good at tactical execution. If you look at teams, then Collins say you really need to add on intrinsic people relations to that. You cannot just focus on executing your tasks and be effective and efficient working in teams. You need to build relationship and consider how other people are performing and how other people are functioning and what helped them to be successful as well, not just you succeeding on what you execute. And then for managers, The interesting part is extrinsic and intrinsic. So they need to have a good understanding of how tasks are performed, what are the nitty-gritties of the things that need to be done, but yet also they need to have a very good grasp of how to relate with people, how to influence people, how to help people feel encouraged, cared for, supported, so they can be the best they can be at executing those things that can move the wheel forward and move the company to success. If you look at the leaders level and executive level and what tasks are necessary there, or what skills are necessary there, then extrinsic or your tactical aspect really falls off. This is where if you're promoted to that level and if you are used to be engaged in tactical execution, it's very hard for some people to drop it and to start focusing their energy and their time and their thought process toward strategy. And that's where many people are having really, really big struggles, because again, while you're on those entry levels, there is not an emphasis in many organizations to help you grow and develop that and advance and practice that and advance. So I want to encourage and empower you to take that as your own responsibility, to start considering that and taking that perspective as well. So when you are on the leadership level, you really need to be strong in starting evaluating the bigger picture, the implications. How is it affect the entire team? How does it affect your company? How does it affect the bottom line? How is your decision affecting the client? So there are many, many things to put into consideration and how your today's decision can affect your progress for tomorrow. If you take it to a personal level, to a personal life, how is your decision in financial, maybe spending something is going to affect your financial stability, your relationship with your loved one, your capabilities in being able to spend, maybe on something else in the future. So that capacity, that skill is so important. And the interesting part of that is what also is important there is having a strong self. And what strong self means is not really feeling that you are superhero. The strong self is meaning that you see yourself as not just tied into one role, as not just one of them out of many. You see that you have a unique contribution, you have unique perspective. So you value, your internal value is adequate. You're not arrogant, yet you're not doubtful. You have an adequate, and it's in Colin's work, it's called, you see yourself as a unique person. And let's admit, each one of us are unique. You're unique, I'm unique, but not many people see themselves as such. And that strong foundation is really as a core for that growth and that progress and that acceleration to help you to win in whatever areas of your life you choose to. So that is important at that level. And again, those are the skills that I feel that need to have foundation from the very entry level of people. And because there's not many opportunities that companies provide, many companies, they feel somewhat stuck in the entry level tactical execution, and then they don't know how to move efficiently and effectively to higher levels, to be able to implement those, because perhaps they lack some of the perspective or some of the skills that have not been developed. They doubt themselves that they even possible for them to make decisions, and that they are just good enough to be told to what to do, and that's what they're doing. So there are many, many layers to that can prevent perhaps you, if you're in that position, from taking that decision or taking that power back to say, I can figure things out, I can learn, I can grow and advance. And on an executive level, the interesting is strategic and intrinsic, which means you do have to have a bigger picture view. Yet what is most important as well, you do have to have a good relationship with people. You need to care for people. And you might have seen, let me know if you've seen that, but you might have seen executives that are so strategic, they're so up there in the high, blue sky, in the cloud, so to speak, high level view, that they're making decisions in a vacuum. They're not taking into consideration what's really happening on that lower level within the organization. So it's not good. You really need to take into consideration what's happening with your people, how your people are affected. And I think right now more than ever, because most of the workforces are so dispersed, remote, and not really able to perhaps connect as much on the level that many people used to. And what I found, I think I read an article, it was in Harvard Business Review, that many leaders are struggling, many executives are struggling because they don't believe that their people on the lower levels are performing best, and they try to find a way how to force people to go back to the offices, and they project their insecurities onto their teams. And I believe that even at that level, you think, oh, you're an executive, you're a CEO, or you maybe, a VP, and you're the leading of the company, yet you think you've achieved everything you could. And that's another trap that you could say, that you can just be stuck in that box and not allow yourself to grow and to really evaluate where you are, because you may be in that position, but your skill set may be lacking a strength and development as well. So on that note, I feel that this is this way. I feel that it is really important to focus on what is happening and affecting you in your decision making. So those, I feel, are the 3 important skills that you need to be aware of. And this was actually a part of the training that I've given to the people that want to grow and develop their career. And I wanted to share that with you because I believe this is really powerful analogy that you could see through Maslow's, through Collins, and through Robert Hartman's view to evaluate and to assess yourself. And the interesting part of it as well is that actually Dr. Hartman created a way to measure those skills, to create how are your decision driven today, and what is the most prevalent skill in your decision making. Are you more driven by tactics? Are you more driven by strategy? Are you more driven by people? And the good thing is to be balanced in all of them, but yet have a strong strategy skills and strong people skills. And if you want to go progress further on the line, you don't need to take tactics into consideration, and don't think it's not important. But depending on your level, that importance may differ. So if you're interested to actually measure your skill set in addition to other abilities that you can show and perform, drop a note in this episode. Let me know that you're interested, or just send me a private DM. Let me know if you're interested. And I'm looking to create a training / coaching based on Dr. Hartman and the research that he's done, and the tool that I really was fascinated with, and I got certified. And I would love to offer that as well to a small group of people. And if this is something that you believe will benefit you to really get understanding of where you are with your skill set, and how that perspective and how that awareness can help you move toward your achieving what you desire, and then gain clarity and gain purpose. Again, don't feel stuck, like Maslow said, at those basic needs, but move your needle toward being able to identify your purpose, identify growth opportunities for yourself in different areas, and also strengthen your valuation of yourself. If you looked at the last slide that we've covered, Dr. Hartman is saying that it is important to see yourself as unique. It's important to see yourself that you can contribute. Your value is tremendous as an individual, no matter on what level you may be right now. We all have opportunities. We all have capacities for growth, and we all can set goals. Sometimes they're a little bit too intimidating for us, but seeing those goals and seeing the potential for ourselves can help us identify step at a time, start thinking bigger for our financial future, for our professional growth, for our lives in general, what legacy we want to leave on this earth, what legacy we want to live by every day. And that can make a big impact. That can make a big change in your life, that can pull you from that day-to-day rat race that so many people are in, into saying, wow, I really want to create something meaningful in my life, whether it be in your career, in your professional development, or it be in your life, or maybe in your volunteering work. Those skills can come and play a tremendous value if you start focusing on them. I'm so happy you are joining, Henry. Hello, my friend. And this is really what I wanted to share with you. Again, if you're interested, I would love to chat with you and give you some more information on the program that's going to start the first week of March. And I believe this is really fantastic because taking the same view and the same understanding and perspective have made an impact. It make a big impact in my own perception of what can be possible for me. It helped me to identify the gaps, the points that I have not even considered that I wasted my energy towards, and that depleted my capacity for higher performance. And also understanding that the things that I'm focusing on do not drive me toward the really true things that I want to achieve. So it's pivoting, it's getting that awareness, it's getting that understanding can make a big difference in your life, I believe. And if we do share that with others, we can change and help each other to really make a progress and to change this world to be a little bit of a better place. So that is all for you, my friend, today. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for being here. If you're listening on the replay, thank you so much for tuning in and spending your time. It's been an honor to be here with you. I appreciate your support. And if there's anything I can do to support you, please reach out. I'll be happy to do so. And I will see you again next time. Be well and take care.